somebody after tomorrow might be in that opening. You never know. As we welcome you to our somewhat, I don't know what to call it, whether it was like a makeover or if it was some sort of renovation that we did here.
Yes, I love it.
I feel very cozy. I feel like I should be smoking a pipe.
I feel like there should be a fireplace behind us. Yes, you should be smoking a pipe.
I should be telling some
I should be
tales.
knitting, you know, all those good things.
Welcome to Woodbine, everybody, on the eve of the King's Plate 166. It is Jeff, it is Elisa. Now, normally, at this time of the show, we look ahead to today's program, but we thought we would change things up a little bit and have a bit of a King's Plate preview show.
I like that idea because we have so much footage to show you.
Yeah.
And, you know, last week we were able to show you the workouts, but now we're going to show everything to you in one big package. This is really great information for your handicapping tomorrow for the plate.
And betting. I'm all about the betting tomorrow. And we got some great pools tomorrow. We got $1 million when it comes to guarantees to the pick fives. The early one's going to be guaranteed at $200,000. The middle one will be at $400,000. And the late one will be at $400,000. The Kings and Queens pick three. I'm very much intrigued with that wager. We're going to have a mandatory payout when it comes to the jackpot power pick six and the jackpot high five as well. Now, am I slouching? Because if my mother's watching, she will.
I feel like I look like I'm slouching. I'm sitting up straight.
She'll have something to say about my posture.
I think maybe I need to sit right up here instead.
Let's take a look at the plate field. The post position draw took place on Tuesday, and here's a look at how they'll all line up. What I find a little bit interesting, Elisa, is the fact that we've got three of the big names who are going to start right beside one another. No Time, Tom's Magic, and Sudbury's Ghost.
Yeah, were you surprised? I mean, you were at the draw. Was there anybody that you heard go, oh, when the number got called and they found out they had tricky post positions to work with?
I thought maybe it would happen with Mancetti, but it was actually pretty quiet. Now, I wonder, we're going to talk about Mancetti in a couple of seconds, if maybe Pietro's cards are going to be forced a little bit if he has to maybe go from post position number one. I love the post for Notorious Gangster. I think that's a great draw. Ashley's Archer does now maybe he have to show a little bit more speed on the outside, but you know what? It's a long run up to that first turn too. It's a mile and a quarter.
The other thing was, you said, and some other people have said that they got a chance to see Tom's Magic this morning.
Stunning.
Absolute monster.
Yeah, very attractive horse. Beautiful, beautiful horse. And this mare, she's produced so many good ones. She's produced Guy Caballero, who ran well in the plate trial, and has produced Oaks winner as well, Dixie Moon too. So that's fun. So let's take a look at the entire field, and we'll start off with Mancetti. We think this is the horse that Pietro's going to ride. He's named on two, but we're expecting a different rider on Faber. And Mancetti, he kind of came onto the radar last season, but at the start of this year, Lisa, I wasn't so sure if he'd be able to get a mile and a quarter. Do you think mentally he's going to be able to get the distance?
Well, I think that's kind of the issue. You know, one of the things that he has really battled with is inconsistency this season, right? So, you know, you look at all the starts and you think, if this horse is going to peak, it better be tomorrow. Because Mancetti at the beginning of the year, when he won the Woodstock, we thought, well, there you go. Yeah. There's your big horse, Kevin. And then, of course, we look back at the Marine and, you know, he was able to bounce back with another nice victory, but he's been a little bit of an in and outer, I guess.
Well, in his defense in the Queenston, he had sort of a wardrobe malfunction. You know, the rider lost an iron coming out of the starting gate.
True.
So it's kind of a throw-out race in here. But the thing that I liked about Mancetti on this day was he was able to kind of sit off the pace a little bit. But I just don't know. I don't know if that tactic's going to work from post position number one, like if Pietro has to go or not. Now, with Monterey Bay not winning this race, we did lose a bit of a pace component in here. Now, the one thing that's been very unique about Mancetti is the spacing between races. They've kind of really liked the 6-week stuff between starts, it seems like.
Yeah, that's true. Now, the other thing that's important out of that Marine is the effort, I think, from Scorching, too. Just watch for that as well. But I understand that the Unwellings will be in the house tomorrow, so that's going to be a lot of fun to have them here. They'll have a couple in this year's plate, but this is likely where we'll find Pietro Moran.
So Pietro Moran worked the horse last time out, and we'll take a look at it right now. And you know, Mancetti is a type of horse that obviously he has matured a lot, which I think does go a long, long way. The thing too that I kind of like with this particular work too is he's got a target on the inside. I like that. It's kind of cool how some use rabbits and some don't, or some want company and some don't. And they try to get a little bit of a gallop out with this horse
and
as well.
He's got a pretty strong hold on him too. And, you know, we talked about that before. You and me and our producer Chris Platts discussed that and said, you know, he looks like a horse that's going to want to go. Now, I thought one of the fun things from the plate draw the other day was an interview with Kevin where he said essentially, well, it's the fastest way around when you have the one hole. I think he'll be one of the quicker horses in the race, that's for sure. It's just the staying power.
One thing that the mainstream media loves are storylines,
Of course.
right? And the fact that you have a father and son riding this race is obviously one of them. But then when they draw right beside one another in the starting gate, that's kind of a cool thing as well. So William T is going to go postward. And this one's owned by Mike Lay. Now, Mike Lay has been involved in racing for a long, long time. This horse is actually named after his grandson. And William T just got really good last time out. And I know that Donnie's been high on this horse and won by about 6 lengths, as a matter of fact, with a beautiful turn of foot. So I kind of like the fact that he's giving Davey a chance for a big race. And because don't forget, Davey Moran won the Oaks with World Inish when they first came to Woodbine.
You know, here's the thing, too. You and I talked to Donnie right after William T won this race. It was a maiden special back on July the 13th. And we said, look, here's a problem. I mean, you know, Fraser's going to be going to Notorious Gangster, so who do you use? And at that point in time, I think his phone really started ringing with different agents who were interested in riding the horse for this year's edition of the King's Plate. But I like what he's doing, too, with Davey Moran. The other thing, too, is the horse really responded to putting those blinkers back on. I mean, he had the blinkers on for the first 2 lifetime starts. They took them off in a race that actually has turned into a really key race for us here at Woodbine, and that's the Connor race.
Yeah.
I mean, it's come back to haunt us a few times. But when, you know, Donnie put the blinkers on, I think everything really came into focus.
Now, his last work came with a horse that's going to be going closer into King Eddie, and that's Cruden Bay. So we'll take a look at this work. It was the last work. It was back on August the 8th. They worked in 58 and 2. On the outside is William T. On the inside is Cruden Bay. I love when they put a horse like this working with really good horse on the inside.
Well, that's one thing that you and I found was a theme this year. All of the horses who worked in company worked with older horses in general and older stars from the barn. So to go with a nice old guy like Cruden Bay, who's got a legitimate shot to give us back-to-back stakes wins on the Saturday program as well, is one thing. But the gallop out here is actually quite good as well from the gray horse, and that being William T. So it'll be fun. I mean, I would imagine that Donnie is probably very nervous at this stage. I liked one of his quotes from the draw that said basically he's going to wrap him in bubble wrap until tomorrow, and then he'll unwrap him. But, you know, this would be a great story if this was able to happen.
Just talking with Ernie Perry and watching one of his reports, he's really happy with 2 horses coming in the race. One is No Time and one is William T. So we'll keep an eye on both those horses. He's our head clock right now. A horse that you and I have been chasing all career long is Notorious Gangster. Does the curse of the Coronation Fraternity finally come to an end tomorrow?
Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, here's the thing. Jeff and I have been fans of Notorious Gangster since day one. I mean, we don't really want to get off the train now. We think one more race and tomorrow is the day that he's going to peak, hopefully. But Notorious Gangster first goes out for Josie Carroll. Now, one of the things that Josie had mentioned too, and this means a lot to me, and I think it should mean a lot to handicappers out there too, she's trained a number of plate winners, correct?
Yep.
3 plate winners. And one of the things she said that they all had in common was this, right here. They all had a really good head on their shoulders, a really good brain, and they were all mentally relaxed horses. This one goes into that group with her other plate winners. So Notorious Gangster, of course, with a beautiful workout from him. And I really think, you know, we'd watched this work, you and I, and we didn't know originally who
the workmate was.
And Jeff, once we found out who it was, this work got even better.
It did, and that's Play Me a Tune is on the inside, and that's a very good horse, and he's a great workhorse too, Play Me a Tune. And here's Fraser on the outside, just now is going to grab his stick out of his jeans there, and you know, I think this is good that he's worked with a pretty salty horse. And the thing with Notorious Gangster that I have no worries on is the distance, and I love how they keep asking this horse after the cross the bar as well.
Gallop out's great. The gallop out's great. We talked to Fraser too. You and I did that day actually about the workout, and you know, we asked him about the stick, and he said, you know, I really just needed to hold it. That's all I really needed to do. Now the other thing is you've just seen the work obviously for Notorious Gangsters. He preps for the plate, but you also just saw the work for Play Me a Tune, and he's going to be on the undercard tomorrow and looks like a star in his spot as well.
Yeah, and Notorious Gangster looking to give Josie Carroll her 4th, and what a storyline this would be for Fraser Abley as a really young rider to pick up his first victory in the King's Plate. Notorious Gangster installed at odds of 9-2. I didn't think he had a great trip in the plate trial either. I thought he got delayed a little bit.
And I'm okay with that because we really want to peak tomorrow.
Yeah, no,
right?
I agree.
But you know, the other thing, I mean, Fraser has to have all his family here. I would think they're all arriving now. We've met a couple of people that have come in from Hastings that are going to be cheering on the Western Canadian team tomorrow as well. But what a great story this would be. And like I said, just think about that. Josie said one thing, all her plate plate horses, her plate winners have had in common is the right brain.
Might not be a dry eye in the house if a trainer by the name of John Charlambus wins the King's Plate. He's been training for over 40 years, and he's got a horse by the name of Scorching, who's been playing catch-up basically all year long. If you're not familiar, they thought he was a Derby horse. He got sick the day of a race down in New York, and he actually got sent to a clinic, and he's been playing catch-up ever since. So now he gets yet another different rider. You and I loved his move the other day. He worked with Michelle Rainford aboard. He worked all by himself, and they actually worked 6 furlongs, where a lot of these other horses have been working halves and 5/8 and stuff like that.
Well, add a couple more with the gallop out too, eh, Jeff?
Exactly. So do you think he's in on a good one here today?
I do.
Or tomorrow, I should say.
Here's the thing. This work really impressed me. I'm going to include this horse. You're not necessarily going to see him on my ticket, but I do want to include this horse in my top 5 for tomorrow. Michelle Rainford, of course, no stranger to racing here at Woodbine, but this would be an awesome story. It took 44 years for John Charlambus to get here, and he's here finally with a great horse. And, he said the same thing, too. One of the greatest strengths about this horse is that he's very professional. He enjoys training. And one of the other things that John mentioned is he enjoys being a racehorse. Yeah. That's really a cool quote from Johnny C. as well.
So we want to wish Scorching all the best of luck there. Jose Lascano is going to ride that one for Braverman and Pinch, and they have been massive supporters of racing throughout the year. Of course, a great 2-year last season with Scorching, and we'll see if he can pick up a big win coming up on tomorrow's program.
You know what, too? Speaking of John Charlambus, he could win tomorrow as well. He's got, what's the other horse that he's got in?
Niagara Skyline.
Niagara Skyline, who had a really tough trip in his last go when they dropped him in for 50.
Well.
So let's hope for those connections that they get very lucky tomorrow.
Now, these American horses, we don't know a lot about. I mean, we watch them on, obviously, TV and stuff like that, but the one that we really don't know a lot about is Mythical Man. So we thought we'd catch up with Danny Gargan. If you're not familiar with Danny, he had a horse by the name of Dornock, who was a really good one, you know, was able to win the Belmont Stakes, had a great campaign. And the fact that Danny thinks enough of this horse to enter in a race like this, I think is kind of interesting. So we thought we would do a bit of an interview with Danny and to find out some more information, because we really don't know all that much other than what it says on paper about Mythical Man.
I mean, we actually get to watch them all train down in Ocala, and he's a big, pretty horse. Jimmy bought him for a very reasonable price. I didn't realize he was Ontario bred when he first started training him, and as we went along, he progressed pretty nicely. And he's done pretty much everything we asked. We've been unfortunate this year. He's been in several times and had to scratch because of not being allowed to ship because of herpes and strangles. So we just wanted to get him started here and get him fit, and hopefully we'll have him fit enough for the race at Woodbine. He's got some natural turn of foot, but he can sit a little bit back. It just depends on the pace. That day he ran really, really well, I thought, and we were expecting a good race, but he ran even better. It's not very often that a horse wins and I come back the next time and put blinkers on him, but the blinkers sharpened him up, and that's why he sat a little closer. And he performed nice, and we decided after that not to chase the winter time, and we gave him a break to get him ready. Hopefully, we thought we'd have a race or two racing him before Woodbine. It just, we had to scramble to get there, but the plan was to be ready for these races at Woodbine. Grass horses tend to run well on the synthetic. That's why we're taking a chance, because he is a turf horse. He doesn't really like the dirt. And you never know until you run on it how they're going to take to it, but it seems like in Florida, we race on it some in Florida, it seems like the turf horses get over it well and they handle it better than the dirt horses. So, we're taking a little bit of a chance there, hoping, but he's a pretty honest horse, and I think he'll give a good effort on it.
Sofia Vives picks up the mount there with Mythical Man, and thanks to Danny Gargan for taking time out of his schedule to give us some information on that one. And it's been a while, Lisa, since we've had like a real bomb upsetter in this race.
Oh, yeah, it has been.
Maybe
we're
we'll
due.
Have one tomorrow.
Possible. That horse gets onto the Lasix program here as well, which is interesting.
Another price plate here is Faber. We're still waiting on the rider of this horse. We don't think it's going to be Pietro. He's named obviously on 2 in this spot. He ran against older horses last time out when finishing 4th and against Special Sessions. So, Faber, to this point of the campaign, you look at the overall form, it says 0 for 4, but does have a couple of second place finishes. Has been winter raced as well. They're making some changes. Let's find out from Kevin Attard. He knows a thing or two about winning a race like this, and get some information on Faber.
just going to come running late. You know, I think the faster they go up front, then I think the faster you're going to see him coming on in unended. So he's a horse that the 10 furlongs, in my mind, there's no doubt he's going to get that distance. He's going to relish that ground, and look for him to be coming in on end.
Yeah, I think he's kind of in the same category as the DePaulo horse.
That's true.
You know,
Watsonville Red.
Yeah, they're just hoping for some real pace to chase in this spot. And it could happen in a race like this. You know, sometimes these horses going to Monaco, they might be a little bit keyed up. So,
which is interesting too, because he's putting blinkers on the horse as well. So they are making a change for tomorrow's race. He's never worn them before, but blinkers are being added here. And again, we do await to find out just who is going to be riding Faber.
Yeah, that's right. So we're waiting to find out there. Now, from a pedigree point of view, one of the nicely bred horses in the race has run away again. A hard spun out of a mare that's from the same family as Awesome again. Now, we knew absolutely nothing about this one back on July the 13th, and all of a sudden, we see this very handsome horse making a big run on the far turn. And what a run this was, I mean, to pull off a victory like this. So obviously very, very impressive to say the least.
Well, that's for sure. And like you talk about the pedigree for this one, this hard spun out of a Stormcat mare, but well related, right, to other great horses that Stronach has had in the past. So, you know, a couple things that came out of this that's kind of interesting from Cititard is that, you know, he said basically that the way that he runs and the way that he gallops out is that he does it all very, very easily. Like it just happens naturally for this horse. Plus, he'll say, you know, essentially he comes back after racing and, you know, it's like he never ran. So that's a really interesting quote, saying that how effortless it is when this horse actually, you know, puts his game face on. Now, what's the issue with him? I think it all comes down to his brains. What's between those ears? And it sounds to me like he's a bit of a quirky horse. You know, Sid has mentioned here that they've been able to go back and they've gate schooled, that they've been able to come over and paddock school again. He is a little bit worried because he is such a high-strung horse just about how he's going to handle so many people here, because that's something you can't practice for. You know, you can go to the gate, you can make sure that that's going to be good. You can come here in paddock school, but we have maybe 30 people that are going to be able to see him when he paddock schools as opposed to, say, tomorrow. So the big hurdle for him is going to be up here.
As we take a look at his work, which I loved, I was a huge fan of this move. My handicap in 101 says, you can't win the plate in your second career start. You know, you're not supposed to be able to do that. But I just really think this is a talented horse. And the guy that worked this horse was Ryan Munger, and obviously he's going to ride Sudbury's Ghost, but just very, very easy move with this horse.
But this is exactly like Sid said, effortless. You know, he's got a beautiful, smooth way of going. Look, I mean, all he really did was probably chirp to him and throw the lines at him a little bit to get this big gallop out from him. Ryan Munger, of course, is going to be riding Sudbury's Ghost, but now he's had an opportunity to get on the competition too. This horse has a great career ahead of him. Regardless of what happens tomorrow, watch out for Runaway again, especially as he matures with time.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do. I'm really, really excited. You know, I'm going to put him on a couple of my tickets too, because he's going to be a good price.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see Sid win a race like this too. So I think he's got some potential.
Well, so many people talk about the Moran story, Davy and Pietro, but you have the Attard family story in here too. And if Sid could get this win, I mean, this would be fantastic.
That would be really, really neat. Okay, are you much of a morning person?
I am here and there, Jeff. It just depends on the night before.
Well, I was starting to think that DeWolf might be a bit of a morning person because, you know, to this point, how many times have we seen this horse in the clock report?
I know.
Or people coming up to us and saying, you can't believe how well this horse is working. And it's just, he's not been able to put it together. So let's take a look at the work, and we'll find out what Kevin has to say too, because this work was pretty quick. So let's find out what Kevin has to say about the frustrating season that has been thus for DeWolf.
You know, another horse that drew really well. You know, got the you know, one of the best riders in the world in Flavian Pratt aboard. Horse that has shown a lot of ability in the morning. Had a good 2-year-old campaign. The 3-year-old season hasn't gone according to plan. Third race off of the form cycle for the season. You know, had a big work last week. You know, look to see him kind of forwardly placed, and he just has to put it all together. I think if he puts it all together, he has the ability, and the distance shouldn't be a problem.
So 46-1. That's skedaddling, as we'd like to say. And I imagine Kevin has been pulling his hair out a little bit. Like, what's it going to take to get this guy to show up in the afternoon?
And look, there's lots of morning glories. Everybody knows the story of those types of horses. But if this guy can put it all together, then he could be a very interesting horse to use in your ticket. What else did I want to mention about Wolf? Oh, I know. Right since the beginning of the season, when we started doing those new boards that Ernie Perry provides us with, where he says, you know, the work of the day or the horse to watch for, how many times has it been DeWolf?
5 or 6 times. Yeah. Lots and lots of times. So hopefully he can put it all together. And again, Flavien Pratz gave obviously Moira a magical ride when it came to the Breeders' Cup, and they're going to team up there with that one. So that's some information on DeWolf. Now, Watsonville Red on paper does seem to be up against a little bit, but he'll stay. He will definitely get the trip. Now, how fast he gets the trip, I don't know. But these connections, they won a big race in Niagara just the other day with Stanley House.
You know, and here's the thing. You have an opportunity, right? And we kind of thought this too. When we first saw this horse break his maiden in that maiden special weight back in the middle of May, we looked at each other and we thought, you know, you probably have to start to think about the plate as a possibility. And like you said, that's one thing that DePaulo has pointed out. The horse is a stayer. The connections are great. They've been around this place for a long, long time. They just had a nice stakes win last week or the week prior to that. He'll be a long shot in here, but guess who's riding him? Long shot Leo. And he's capable of bringing home horses at good prices.
Watsonville Red looking for that second career win. Now we're going to get to the filly. Fillies have just done so well in this race as of late. And did she peak too early? Can she put 2 consecutive races together? And this one's name is No Time. Now, No Time, you know, she's kind of a quirky horse because I think sometimes she fights the rider a little bit and stuff like that. So we thought we would catch up with Mark Hassard because Mark can tell us a little bit more about what he thought about the Oaks and what his expectations are coming up on plate day.
I talked to Johnny Velazquez a couple weeks before the Oaks. He was in my office at my barn in Saratoga, and I said, Johnny, she's got a big shot to win the Canadian Oaks. And I said, just throw her ass race out. And he said she was pretty well pushed, but you know, he got a good position. They were rolling too. It wasn't like they were walking. And when he asked her to pick it up, he said she accelerated nicely. So that's what you want. You know, to get a mile and a quarter, you got to have a horse that will settle, and I think she will, as long as the pace is quick enough. And I think there's going to be plenty of pace. And she has a tremendous pedigree.
Yeah,
she is by, you know, maybe one of the best sires in the world, not this time, and she's a half to 2 Grade 1 winners. And if you followed Not This Times, they seem to get better and better as they get older, and you can see that in her. So she has it all. She's a real pretty filly, good attitude and a strong pedigree. So she should be. I expect her to run well, and she should build off of that last race a little bit, and that puts her right there.
Well, horse makes it onto the clock report tomorrow is No Time for her most recent work, and I was back on August the 8th, and Cassie Garcia was aboard for this particular move. And what you and I liked about this move was right when she asked the horse at the wire.
Yep, the gallop out on her was very, very good. Now, Cassie was busy because she worked a couple of horses for Mark Cassie that morning, so she got a chance to get both of them prepped. And, you look at this, she comes in off of a nice win in the Oaks. Of course, last year we saw Caitlin Her Greatness win the Oaks and then come back to win the Plate. One thing, too, that Mark had pointed out as well is just how well she grew from, say, 2 to 3, that she was quite a small little filly. And then, look at her just kind of hand right her. This is actually quite nice. So, that she was a small little filly, and then she really has grown up. And there's a cute story that goes along with how Mark bought her, too.
Yeah, the No Time was, I guess he was talking with media at the time, and when this horse was going through the rain, he just got back in time to bid on this horse, thus the name No Time. And what I would love to see with this is the mare is a Samsung mare, so it'd be kind of cool to keep that kind of storyline going right as well. So No Time, I think she's a deserving morning line favorite. I would have made her the morning line favorite as well, and that is what she is with Johnny V doing the riding. So No Time. We'll start from post position number 10. Now, Tom's Magic. A lot of people like this horse, and deservedly so. He's impeccably bred. He is by Justify, and he's out of a wonderful, wonderful mare. They paid $200,000 for this horse, did CJ Thoroughbreds and Mo Speed Racing as well. Now, Tom's Magic's last performance took place in a stake race at Monmouth. Now, we're going to catch up now with Mike Stidham to find out, has this been the plan all along, what his thoughts were with that performance last time out, to the tail of the cat as well.
Well, I mean, this is a horse that has developed for us. As a 2-year-old, we took our time with him. He has developed nicely. And, he's one of those, he was kind of immature when he came in, but has developed. And 3-year-old, he's coming into, probably the best form that he's been in. That last race at Monmouth was a big confidence builder for him, and that's what we were hoping for. He sat in a real comfortable stalking position down inside, and then when the rider tipped him out, he had a big run and a big finish. And in all of his works, he's always shown us, strong gallop out. And we just feel like the 1.25 miles is definitely going to be something that he will appreciate, and we're looking for a huge effort on Saturday, without a doubt. I mean, he's got a half sister that ran in the Oaks at Woodbine, and I believe she won the race, but you'd have to check on that. But he's had family members that have done well up there at Woodbine, and we feel like pedigree-wise on both the stallion side and the dam side that he fits beautifully in this race. Actually, I was happy that we were more on the outside than getting an inside draw, because I didn't really want to see him where he was to maybe get shuffled back early too far and take him out of his comfort zone in that stalking spot. So I think this allows Raphael to break and watch what's going on down inside of him. He's got the favorite right next to him, and I think that filly's got enough tactical speed where she'll actually be hopefully running a little bit of interference for him.
Mm-hmm.
And give him a path to run, either by or next to, and I think it's a perfect setup for him. We're stabled with the majority of our horses at Delaware, and we also have a small string at Fairhill. So during the early part of the spring and summer, we were able to ship him over when the track was wet at Delaware and work him on the Tapeta at Fairhill. And he's always, really worked well on that surface. As a 2-year-old, when we were getting him ready, we were at Turfway with him, and he was working really well on the Tapeta over there also. So, we've run him on the grass. We would have run him on the Tapeta or on the synthetic if the opportunity came up, but we were happy with his races on the grass, and we feel real comfortable about the switch over to synthetic.
Great information, courtesy of Mike Stidham. The fact the horses worked at Turfway and at Fairhill, that makes me a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, and he had
things.
a chance to gallop over the surface here today as well. But I was thinking the same thing too. When he had mentioned that the horse had trained over the synthetic surface at Turfway, I thought we're in good shape, because how many Turfway horses have come here and just loved our course.
Now, I want you're kind of our horse whisperer on the show. I want you to describe, when we get to the work here with Sudbury's Ghost, about the way that he moves in here. But let's first we'll take a look at his replay in the Play Trial Stakes. So he gets the jump over Notorious Gangster, and you can make a case that, Sudbury's Ghost had the better of the trips, which is possible. Right there's everybody highlighted right there. That's so well done there. That's a lot of horse to keep an eye on. But let's first of all talk about this race specifically, and then I'll ask you about the work. So, did this horse make you more of a believer believer after this performance? Like, what were your thoughts going in, and what are your thoughts now?
Well, to me, he was a bit of an underdog going in, right? Because we were looking at other horses, and of course, Barb Mitchell has had such a fantastic year that it was hard to leave Barb's horses off the ticket completely. And here's a horse that, you know, again, has changed a lot from 2 to 3. Like, you know, again, Barb knows how to get a horse ready for this race, and she said when he was a youngster, he was incredibly high-strung. And this is another horse that, you know, as he's gotten older and as he's matured, he's changed into a whole different type of racehorse, and he's improving. And isn't that what you want to see? Like this type of a performance, this is a massive performance from him. Now, at this time, Ryan Munger was riding an absolute high, right? Everything is going right for Ryan Munger. Everything's still been going right for Ryan Munger. And of course, the breeder and the owner are a great story because it's one and the same. She only has 5 mares. And so people like myself, you know, my family that have the boutique racing, boutique breeding operations are all going to be cheering for Sudbury's Ghost.
Now, we're going to take a look at the work. And when I watch this work, and I'm by no means a workout expert, but to me, it kind of looks like he floats on the ground. Like he doesn't hit the ground hard, which I kind of like. Like I just think he's very efficient with his stride. Would you agree?
Absolutely. So a couple things that I see here, and I think anybody is going to see this, are those ears. That's the first thing you see. This is a horse who's got his ears pricked. He is happy to be doing what he's doing. Now, I noticed when we watched this originally that Ryan had a really loose line with this horse, whereas you saw some of the other workouts, like say Mansetti's, who's under a strong hold. This one is just like plant your hands on the withers and go for a little bit of a run. But I talked to Ryan after the workout and I said, look, can you just not grab his mouth? Is he, you know, sensitive with his face? He said, absolutely not. He said, once I get him to the cruising speed, you just put your hands down and enjoy the ride. So that is a very important quote, I think. Now, I like the gallop out from this horse as well. But what this horse indicates to me is that he's a horse coming in with a ton of confidence off of that win in the plate trial. I just love the way his ears are up. He looks like a very happy horse. He's got a nice, efficient stride to him. And I think you could do just about anything with this guy. I'm not concerned about what type of a trip we get from him. I don't necessarily think we're going to be anywhere near the front end. But I kind of remember hearing Ryan Munger say something along the lines of, you know, we're just going to let everybody else go, and then I'm going to map out my trip.
I love the draw for him. I think it's a perfect draw for him to sit on the outside and kind of figure out things. So I think he's going to be really, really tough. One more to take a look at, and this is from post position number 13. This is Ashley's Archer. And Ashley's Archer is from a family line that is no stranger to having success in big races like this. What does Mark Cassidy have to say about the horse's most recent race? And then we'll take a look at the workout as well. But here's some more information on Ashley's Archer.
Well, I think you know, the post ends up being great because Sahin's going to have a quarter of a mile to decide what he wants to do. I think if the pace isn't fast, that he'll be on the lead. If the pace is fast, he'll be sitting right off of it. He's not the kind of horse you want to take, you know, have coming from way out of it. So, again, if he breaks good, the pace is not fast, he'll be on the lead. If not, he'll be sitting right off of it. I think so. We've had some foot issues with him. He has quarter cracks. He's had a foot abscess, and that's why he missed. You know, he didn't run for a while. He should improve big off his last race. He probably needed that race. We always had the King's Plate in sight, and it hasn't worked out perfect, but we're happy where we are now, and he's got a lot of ability. I give him a good chance. I thought maybe in his last start he moved a little early, and we won the race with a horse called Special Session. Right. Half brother to Sir Winston, our horse that won the Belmont. And he's a pretty good horse in his own right. So I thought it was a really good race. As I said, I think we build on that. And I don't see a problem with the 1.25 miles. I think he'll settle if need be. And, so I like his chances.
Well, thanks to all the participants for helping us out, giving us some great information too, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of preparations getting horses to the plate. You can come at it many different types of ways.
And really, you can't just go off of this, right?
Yeah,
So the information that we got from the trainers was so valuable. Like, for example, what you just got from Mark Cassie on the fact that Ashley's Archer has struggled with foot issues, quarter cracks, problems with his feet. No foot, no horse is what everybody will say that's in this game. So hopefully those are under control. But believe me, once you get a horse that suffers with foot issues, it can just be, one of those, you just want to pull your hair out. So hopefully it's all systems go for Ashley's Archer. But the information we got from the trainers on all of the horses was absolutely very, very useful.
Okay, kiddo, time to put you to the test. Let's take a look at your picks. Where are you going?
Well, I got to stick with the guy that brought me, and that's Notorious Gangster. We've been cheering for him all along, so I will put him up on top. But believe me, I fought with myself for putting Sudbury's Ghost up on top too. I think, if it's me, I'm going to box the two just in case. So I'm going to go Notorious Gangster, Sudbury's Ghost, the filly, No Time, and then I'm going to toss in Tom's Magic because he's been so impressive. But again, I wish I could get 5 because I would have tossed Scorching in at the bottom of that as well.
It's tough. I didn't have a tough time with the top picks. I knew all along you and I were going to go with Notorious Gangster, okay? Because we've been following that guy all along. But I put No Time in second. I put Sudbury's Ghost in third, and fourth, I had to put Runaway again.
Yeah,
in there.
you liked him.
I have to put him on there, so I'll put him in the 4th place spot. I don't know if he's good enough in start number 2 to win it or not, but I just like the way he's coming into the race.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to throw some of these long shots into your tickets. So we're going to have a lot of fun with handicapping it, but this is one of the first years, at least that I can remember, where I had a really tough time only going with 4 because there's so many in here I want to use in the ticket.
So that's enough talk about the King's Plate. After the break, we'll take a look at some more plays of the day for today. Let's see if we can't make you some money on the 8-race program. More Woodbine Racing Live after this short timeout. Stay with us.
Love horse racing? HPIBet.com is Canada's leader in online horse betting. Access thousands of live races from hundreds of tracks worldwide instantly. Enjoy the most advanced betting tools like AI Smart Picks and exclusive cashback rewards you won't get anywhere else. Join today and get up to $100 in free bets. Get the ultimate horse betting experience with HPIBet.com.
Download the Bet365 app, the only sports book available to bet on today's races, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
More than just a race.
One of the great sporting traditions in this country.
It's part of our culture.
A huge crowd this afternoon.
An iconic day about royalty, fashion, and passion.
A magnificent lineup.
A truly magical equine display.
And they're off in the King's Plate.
He's running his eyeballs out.
She's as great as they come.
What a race.
With one to rule the day. Watch the 166th King's Plate, the first leg of the OLG Canadian Triple Crown.
Okay, play of the day time. And here comes Elisa. We're turf heavy today. Elisa, I hate to say this, but we only have 3 days left this season on the E.P. Taylor Turf Course.
Crazy.
So enjoy it while it lasts.
I know. All right, well, I got a drop and pop for you in race number 3. I think a lot of people are going to take a look at Sharp Flame, who drops in for just a $15,000 purchase price here today. Indy 1, same thing. I mean, this horse was collared for $25,000, drops in for only $15,000. You get some class relief for Catch the Drift. That's a Mark Cassie runner that'll go in race number 6. And here's a Barb Minchell horse that could give her a nice win on the eve of plate day with 50 BMG, who goes second start off of the rest in race number 7. And we found that the horses right now, as we're basically halfway through the meet, the ones coming in with the fresh legs are doing very, very well.
My value play is going to come up in race number 4. I think there's a lot of pace to chase for Periwinkle on this spot. Was victorious on the turf a couple of starts ago. My best bet of the day is going to be Indy 1. I just think spotted to be sold and spotted to win today. That's kind of my thinking with that one. My watch list horse is Shadow Realm. Comes off a big race. And my drop and pop. That was stolen off of Elisa Blow. And that is just like that. It's coming up in race number 8 of the day. We have a clocker report to pass along to just one horse on this program. And where, oh, where is Ernie going to go? Let's find out.
I'm excited.
Ernie Perry says, survey says, Deputy Daddy.
Oh, yeah, we like Deputy Daddy.
Now, this
today.
one was scratched in the Heritage Series race. Is this the one that acted up in the gates?
He was a scratch at the gate, you're right. Yeah. Which was a shame.
Yeah,
because he was,
looked really
I think he
live
was
in
the
that race.
favorite, actually, going into the gate, too.
Yeah, you're right. July 27th, Lake Superior.
Well, they had to work him because he didn't get to race, right? So there you go, and he works very sharply. Too bad. But sometimes everything happens for a reason. He should be able to do it here today.
Now, there are going to be major renovations done to the E.P. Tiller turf course to replace about 5/8 of it, and it's the old portion of the course that Secretariat ran on. That's how old that portion of the course is. It has to be done, unfortunately. So thus, we have to change our schedule a little bit. So starting next Thursday, post time is going to be at 5:30, which means our pregame show. Now, this information's for you, but it's also specifically for Elisa, who guaranteed will call me and say, what time is post time today, and what time do I have to be there? So first race post time on Thursdays is now going to be 5:30. First race post time on Fridays is going to be 4:30. So if you like a little twilight action, we've got you covered coming up on Thursday and Friday. At least this is the one time I'm telling you the post times. After this, you're on your own.
But guess what, Jeff? I put everything in my phone, and I have alerts that are going to go off on Thursday and Friday to tell me when first race is, when showtime is, and what time I have to leave the house.
Yes.
You'll be very impressed.
Yes, alrighty. I like it. I like it. So, listen, bottom line is this. We don't love the fact that we're not going to have any more racing on the E.P. Taylor turf course, but it's one of those situations that you have to do it at some point, and it has to be done. So because of that, we're just biting the bullets. And we're going to get it done, and then we'll be back on the grass next fall.
But it changes the complexion of 2 major races.
3.
The International, the Mile. Give me the other one.
The Talma,
Summer. Yeah, absolutely. Like some of our big races now, won't go on that big European course. They'll go on the tighter turf course.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. Hey, going to change things up a little bit.
Sometimes change is as good as,
like this new look.
Yeah, like hold on a second. Let me just get comfy.
I'm going to have a little siesta, Lisa. When we come back, if we're still awake, we'll get you all set for race number 1. Can you get me something to eat?
Yeah, and a coffee would be lovely.
More Woodbine Racing Live after this.